You just finished dinner. You were full. You meant it. And yet, 20 minutes later, you are standing in the kitchen, hand inside a bag of chips you did not decide to open. You are not hungry. You know you are not hungry. So why is your hand still moving? The honest answer is stranger than a lack of willpower. The honest answer is that a part of you was never trying to keep you full. A part of you was trying to keep you alive in a world that no longer exists. Let's go back. Not a few years, not a few thousand, millions. For almost the entire history of your species, food was not waiting in a cupboard. It was hiding. It ran. It rotted. It came in sudden, unpredictable bursts and then vanished for days. A ripe tree, a lucky kill, a patch of honey high in a cliff. These were not meals. They were jackpots. And the bodies that survived those jackpots all had one thing in common. They did not stop. Think about what that means. If you found a tree heavy with fruit, the smart thing was not to eat a sensible portion and walk away. The smart thing was to eat until it hurt, to pack every spare calorie onto your body as fat, because tomorrow there might be nothing. The ancestor who felt full and politely stopped left calories on the table. The ancestor who kept going survived the famine that followed. You are descended from the ones who kept going. So when you feel that pull toward more after you are already full, you are not weak. You are well built. You are running ancient software on a body that lives in a world it was never designed for. But here is where it gets interesting, because your body does have a system that is supposed to say enough. It is real, it works, and the modern world has learned exactly how to break it. In 1994, a researcher named Jeffrey Friedman at Rockefeller University discovered a hormone. He called it leptin. Leptin is made by your fat cells, and it has a beautifully simple job. The more fat you carry, the more leptin you release, and leptin travels up to your brain and whispers a single message: we have enough. You can stop now. For most of history, that whisper was enough. So why can't you hear it? Because the foods you eat today are not the foods that system was built to read. And nobody proved this more clearly than a scientist named Kevin Hall. Hall works at the National Institutes of Health. In 2019, he ran an experiment that sounds almost too simple to matter. He took a group of volunteers and locked in their meals. One stretch of days, they ate whole, minimally processed food. Another stretch, they ate ultra-processed food. Both menus were matched. Same calories on offer, same sugar, same fat, same salt, same fiber on paper. The volunteers were told one thing only: eat as much or as little as you like. The results were not subtle. On the ultra-processed diet, people ate about 500 extra calories a day. Same hunger ratings, same enjoyment ratings. They simply ate more, and they gained weight. Switch them to whole food, and without trying, without dieting, they ate less and lost it. 500 calories a day, invisible, just from how the food was built. Your fullness signal didn't fail. The food was engineered to slip underneath it. So what is ultra-processed food actually doing to you? Think of your sense of fullness as a guard standing at a gate. For millions of years, that guard learned to read certain signals: how much you chewed, how much the food stretched your stomach, how slowly the energy trickled into your blood. Real food sends all of these signals loudly. A whole apple takes work. It takes time. It tells the guard clearly that something substantial has arrived. Now imagine food designed to send none of those signals. Soft, so you barely chew; dense with calories, so a huge amount of energy hides in a tiny volume; fast, so the energy floods in before the guard even looks up. The food walks straight past the gate. The guard never sees it. And you keep eating, because as far as your ancient system can tell, nothing has happened yet. This is the part most people get wrong. They think overeating is about pleasure. It isn't, not really. And to understand why, you have to meet one more scientist. His name is Kent Berridge at the University of Michigan, and he spent decades pulling apart something we usually treat as one feeling: the feeling of wanting something and the feeling of liking it. They feel identical from the inside. They are not the same thing in the brain. Liking is the pleasure you get when the food is actually in your mouth. Wanting is the engine that drives you toward it: the pull, the craving, the reaching hand. And Berridge discovered something unsettling. These two systems can come apart. Your brain can crank the wanting far past the liking. You can be pulled hard toward food that you barely even enjoy once you taste it. Have you ever finished a snack and felt almost nothing? Not satisfied, not delighted, just gone and somehow already reaching for the next one? That is wanting running without liking. That is the engine roaring with no one steering. Modern food is tuned to that engine. The exact mix of sugar, fat, and salt, the crunch, the melt, the colors, the sounds, all of it is refined to maximize the wanting, to keep your hand moving, not to make you happy, to make you reach. And now layer one more thing on top: variety. There is an effect researchers call sensory-specific satiety. The idea is this: as you eat one flavor, your pleasure in that exact flavor fades. Your body is nudging you to stop, to seek different nutrients elsewhere. It is an ancient balancing system, but it has a loophole. Introduce a new flavor and the fullness resets. Suddenly there is room again. You have felt this. You are too full for one more bite of the meal, and then someone brings out dessert, and the room reappears as if by magic. The sweet was never blocked by the savory. Your ancestors needed that loophole to gather a balanced diet from a scarce world. Today, it is a buffet, a snack aisle, a delivery app with 1,000 flavors one tap away. So sit with the full picture. A body built to feast against famine, a fullness signal designed for slow, fibrous, hard-won food, a wanting system that can be revved far past your actual enjoyment, a variety loophole that reopens the gate again and again, and an entire industry, brilliant and relentless, aiming every one of those ancient levers at the same target. You, standing in your kitchen, hand in the bag. You were never going to win that fight with willpower alone. Willpower was never the weak point. The system was simply outmatched. But here is where it gets interesting, because once you can see the machine, it stops working quite so well in the dark. You can give the guard back its signals, eat food that requires chewing, that takes time, that fills volume. Whole food is not magic, but it speaks the language your fullness system actually understands. You can shrink the variety in a single sitting and let sensory-specific satiety do the job it evolved to do. You can notice the difference between wanting and liking in real time. The next time your hand reaches, you can pause and ask a quiet question. Do I actually want to taste this, or is the engine just running? Often, the moment you name it, the pull loosens, because that craving was never really about you. It was a message from a distant ancestor standing under a fruit tree, terrified of the empty days ahead, screaming across millions of years the only advice that ever kept your bloodline alive. Eat now, eat while you still can. That voice is not broken. It is not your enemy. It kept you here. It simply does not know that the famine never came. So the next time you finish dinner, full, and feel that familiar pull toward the kitchen, you do not have to obey it and you do not have to fight it. You only have to recognize it, an old friend doing an old job in a world that finally has enough. You just finished dinner, you were full, and now, for the first time, you understand the hand that keeps reaching.